Not too long ago, I 3D printed a GameCube and shared the whole process here on this channel. This time around, I wanted to try something a little different, something smaller, something more, let's say, pocketable. I am Paul and this is my little mod shop. So, after finishing the GameCube project, I wanted to see what else could be done with 3D printing and classic consoles combined. The Game Boy Pocket right here felt like a natural choice. It's simple, it's iconic, and the form factor is just right for 3D printing. I've personally always liked the design of the Pocket. I mean, it's basically 2/3 of the size of our original DMG and runs on 2 AAAs, not 4 AA batteries, which saved a lot of money back in the day. My idea for it was to create a version that is clearly 3D printed, but still neat and intentional. Something that is more of a conversation starter, while keeping the character of the original intact. The aim here was not just to make it work, I wanted it to look clean, even though it came off a 3D printer. And to make a Game Boy Pocket yourself, you need a 3D model to actually print it out. And that's where Joseph comes into play. Joseph Tompkins designed a great model that accurately captured the Pocket's proportions. And the best part, he made the files available through his Ko-fi page. Thank you so much for that. I also used this specific back half of the shell so I can access the battery compartment. This battery lid kind of makes it feel like a Game Boy Pocket Lite, which I really love because I never had the chance to own one myself. The only thing I have changed is the front of the shell. I made it dead flat so I can print it face down on my printer. You see, the original Game Boy Pocket isn't flat at all. It has a really organic curve to it that makes it much nicer to hold, but also at the same time not good to 3D print, at least on an FDM printer like I have. Speaking of, for the actual print process I used my Anycubic Cobra S1 with Orca Slicer to bring it to life. I just put the model in the slicer, got the settings dialed in, and then I had to wait for the print to finish. But the first round of printing didn't go the way I hoped. I used Amazon Basics PLA and the finish, well, let's just say it wasn't right. The surface looked dull and the pieces didn't quite line up the way they needed to. That was the point where I had to decide if I should keep going or start over with different or better materials. I decided to reprint everything with Overture Super PLA Plus in black. I also adjusted some slicer settings too, slowed the outer wall speed, added more perimeters for strength and included a brim for stability. This was like the cleanest pull ever. This time the finish looks really great. I'm super happy with how the PLA comes out of the printer. Never have I thought that there is such a vast difference in quality in PLA from different manufacturers. And the test fit is also pretty much spot on. Sure, it needs a little love and squeezing, but that comes expected with this print process. If you don't have a 3D printer at hand, I can also tell you where to get the shells printed for yourself. With today's sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay offers a wide range of different 3D printing options, so you can upload the files on the website and let them do the rest for you. No removing supports, no fiddling around with settings, just upload the files, go through the ordering process and wait for your stuff to arrive. It's really that easy and straightforward. They do also offer a lot of other services like PCB manufacturing, injection molding, CNC machining and sheet metal fabrication. And let's not forget their exceptional customer service. If you need help at any step of your ordering process, the support team is there for you. So big thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring this video, and you can use the link in the description down below to get started on your next project. Now let's continue on with the build. Internally, I kept most of it original, so there was no change to the motherboard or the speaker or the pads, but I swapped in a modern LCD screen for better viewing angles and for night sessions. Also a big shout out to AliExpress for actually losing my USB-C mod for this project. Sometimes it is really hit or miss with them and it feels like I really need to do everything on my own on these projects. Which leads me to the next big thing I want to talk about, the buttons. I made a set of Galaxy Swirl buttons that give the build its own identity. This process has really a lot of steps, so I won't go into that much detail with it. But basically I need to make a tube-up mold, then cast the buttons with epoxy resin. This takes about a whole day of work and babysitting the epoxy to have finished buttons in hand. But I think the whole thing was worth it. What do you guys think? Now let's put everything together. Thank God the LCD fits in nicely and the buttons really give it that extra bit of personality, I think. I also used the original screws to keep the two halves together. They are biting a little better in the material than normal M2 screws in my experience. Here again comes the love and squeezing part in. I had some trouble aligning both sides, but in the end, when everything fits, it fits. Also, I was pleasantly surprised to see that we are now rocking 2 AA batteries in the Game Boy Pocket. This will extend screen on time a lot over the AAAs that are normally in there. Another really nice feature I haven't touched on is that Joseph made sure to make the shell compatible with Game Boy Color buttons. They would fit either way. However, Nintendo changed the guides on each button so you couldn't fit pocket buttons on a regular Game Boy Color. Thanks Nintendo, but other than that, we are finished with the build. And here we are. This is the end result. A Game Boy Pocket that still feels like the original, but with a few intentional design changes. The shell now makes it much more lightweight, the backlit screen is sharp and looks great. And the buttons in combination with the black shell are really nice to look at. And I love the smooth finish from my print plate. All in all, it does exactly what I hoped. It works and it looks super nice. To be honest, I wasn't sure how well it will turn out when I started, but I'm pleased with the way it came together. It's something I can actually use and isn't just a display piece. If you made it this far, thanks for sticking with me. This build had its ups and some downs as well. But overall, it showed me that sometimes it is better to use the filament you're familiar with than the cheapest filament that is available at the time. The Amazon Basics PLA definitely has its purpose for quick reference prints, but not to finish a project with, at least with my setup. Oh, and also tell me in the comments what handout you'd like to see me print next. I have some ideas, but I'm looking forward to your suggestions. And if you want to see the original 3D printer GameCube, this video right here is the next one to watch.